Hi, good morning. This is Mike Lodge. I am the business advisor. Well, I guess it's not morning where a lot of you individuals are. You're all over this world. I look at the map of places that listen to my podcast, and I'm literally all over the place. And I'm really amazed that people are listening to me that far away. Listen, one of the things that I do every morning is I get up and I kind of do my analysis, and I also build content for my podcasts and my vlogs. And this morning I began questioning the reason why oil prices are going up and who is saying what and what is going on. That is one of the issues that I do every single morning to see why my questions on the economy and the energy policies that we have in the United States, and also the energy policies of countries abroad, what is creating the issue of going to an economy that was really sounding good, and then all of a sudden we're like in chaos. Everybody's saying all different kinds of things. The economists are saying everything that you don't really understand because they're all over the place. One says we're going into a recession, one says we're in a recession, another one says we're not going into a recession. And then if you look at all of the news accounts in the business uh, entities out there, they don't even know what's going on. But I think that we have to listen very carefully to who is saying what and why, and then kind of draw a semi conclusion as to what's going on because it changes daily. Let me put my glasses on because I need to read and I'm old, and so I need that. Now, if we listen to what Saudi Arabia is saying, they have made some statements as of Monday. So they said that Saudi Arabia's energy ministry said Riyadh and Moscow's decision to extend crude oil supply cuts is not about jacking up prices. Then they continue to say we can reduce more or we can increase. That has been a subject that we want to make sure that the messaging is clear. That it's not about, again, this jacking up prices, said Prince Abdulaziz bin Salman, and he said that on Monday. And then Saudi Arabia and Russia announced they will apply respective voluntary declines of 1 million barrels per day of production and 300 barrels per day of exports until the end of the year of 2024. No, I'm sorry, until the end of this year, until the end of 2023. So they're saying that it's not about jacking up the prices. And currently we're about $95 per barrel, and we're the estimates is that it will go up to a triple number, 100, 110, whatever that number is. But the energy minister, Abdulaziz, said that it's not about jacking up prices. Now, if we read on, he also makes the statement that says it's about making the decision at the right time when we have the data and when we have the clarity that would make us in much more of a comfort zone to make that decision. So, what exactly is he talking about a comfort zone? Well, what's happening is that we have all of these countries worldwide and let's that are making these energy policies regarding electronic vehicles. And then if we look at right now, we have to look at China because now they are starting to create a hole, I mean not a hole, but they're creating a surplus of oil. And the question then it comes up, well, are they getting that surplus of oil increasing their inventory of surplus of oil? Are they doing it because they're expecting war? So that's the other question that's out there. Are they expecting war with Taiwan or with the United States? So they're getting their inventory up in case of that. We don't know. That's a question that's out there at the moment. But economists are saying at the moment that it sure looks like the price of a barrel of oil is going to go up to that triple digit number. We just don't know what that's going to be. Now, why are we talking about the statements of Saudi? Because they made some very interesting statements. I'm trying to get to it right now. There seems to be a few at the moment. There is a group called the International Energy Agency, and it's a Paris-based watchdog uh, group that monitors oil and other stuff like that. And they're a international energy agency, and the right now Saudi is having a feud with their director because she's making some statements, and she made this statement: the IEA was wary of such premature calls, but our latest projections show that the growth of electric vehicles around the world, especially in China, means oil demand is on course to peak before 2030. So the oil minister came back from Saudi and said none of the things that they were warning about has happened. And name me any time that their forecasts were as accurate as one would have hoped for. But, you know, they've moved now from being forecasters and assessors of market to one of political advocacy, Abdulaziz said on Monday. So, again, we have this agency that's supposed to be monitoring oil and gas and everything else out there. Now, talking about electronic vehicles and how it's affecting China and how it's affecting the world markets. And it's become a political statement instead of an analytical statement. So I can understand how Saudi could be upset about that. They said there is an individual called Amin Nassar. He's the CEO of Saudi Aramco. Uh, and he also made a statement on Monday, and it went like this. Um, the notion of peak oil demand is waiting under scrutiny, noting many shortcomings in the current transition approach that can no longer be ignored, and stressing that carbon capture can no longer be the bridesmaid of transition. And that's the argument of all of these groups out there, and especially of the United States government at the moment under Biden's administrative policy. It's about that. It's about that carbon capture, what's happening out there in the environment. So, in fact, these comments come uh, 2 months ahead of a pivotal session of the United Nations Climate Change Conference, which is set to controversially convene on the territory of major oil producer, the United Arab Emirates, uh, s- starting on November 30th. Climate change positioning has been a key hurdle of the increasingly fraught relationship between Saudi Arabia and the IEA. In a landmark 2021 report, the energy watchdog argued for no investment in new fossil fuel supply projects. So Saudi feels as though that they're being attacked by this group who are now becoming political because they want to push, as the United States does, this electronic vehicle projects that they want to involve all of Americans on, the whole world on. So you have to see that this is an EV political situation that the Saudi Arabia has really said this transition is not being run well. And you know that in the United States, this EV stuff is not being run well. The grid that is supposed to support charging all these EVs is not up to par. It's not even capable. If all Americans went to an EV, we don't have an EV system that's compatible to run all of the charging stations in homes and everything else. The other issue is that in the United States, to charge a electrical vehicle has become rather expensive. Why? Because the cost of producing that energy has gone up. Coal plants are no longer wanted by coal. When I say coal plants, I'm talking about cogeneration power plants that burn coal to produce electric for the grid. So Biden has come out and said, no, that's not going to be anymore. We hate coal, and he's going to destroy coal. By the way, I have another article I want to read you on that because Biden just made another uh, stupid thing. Let me find it here. Just one second. I always wonder which way I'm going on this thing. Just one second. Oh, here we go. The headline is Biden admin unleashes 50-year mining and oil drilling ban across thousands of acres of New Mexico. So he's already attacked Alaska and dismissed some of those oil rights up there. Now he's in New Mexico and stopping that. So, what do you think that does to the cost of fuel? Because now the supply sources are being eliminated by the President of the United States. Well, it creates our energy costs to go up. So, if you think that this inflationary period is going to end, it's not going to. Under this administration, the cost of energy is climbing. As you remember, in January, people were upset because the oil the tax on coal went up, which reflected in their monthly electrical bills. So we have to, I don't know if we say we're going to point the fingers. Well, I'm going to point the finger. I'll just point the finger there. Point the finger. You, Biden, have either got to sit down and readjust your energy focus, or you're going to drive the economy into more chaos than what it already is. Saudi Arabia have already suggested that the electronic vehicles is a political play and not a very thought-provoking thing, because you have not planned on how you're going to run the electronic vehicle power source at all. A lot of Americans do not want to change over to electric because of the situation of not having any place to charge. If you look at your own energy secretary who went on this car ride, road trip, I should say, in an electronic vehicle and had tremendous amounts of problems along the way. Americans don't want that. I was listening to a comment 2 days ago on a YouTube contributor who was talking about he cannot just go at the spur of a moment. He has a plan where all of the charging stations are. He says it's a disaster. At the very beginning, when he got the electronic car, it was a Tesla. He said, "Oh, I love the car," but as he began driving it, and he came up with all of the hassles of trying to put electric filling the car up with electricity became a hassle. He could no longer go on long road trips. He could no longer just stop and in 10 minutes put gas in the car. Now he has to wait an hour to charge up his car. So we have all of these things happening, but if you want to piss off Saudi, That's not a very good idea. And by the way, if you want to make America dependent upon Saudi Arabia, that's not a very smart move either. We have got to be energy independent. I don't care about your Green New Deal because now what you've done is raise inflation again and you've raised the cost of fuel again. And again, when we get to the cold months, people are going to suffer with higher energy bills. So we are in an energy chaos situation. And honestly, to goodness, I can almost understand what Saudi is messaging is here is that get it together because you're really fouling things up, not just here in the United States, but across the world with these energy policies that a lot of you guys are trying, a lot of the countries are trying to do on electronic vehicles. It just is not working. So, as I read all of this content this morning, I thought, okay, maybe I do now understand what's going on and why oil is going up. And the my finding is that it's based upon bad energy policies by governments all over the world, not just the United States. But we seem to have really bad leaders who are bending to the will of a few to destroy the lives of many. So I think that's my conclusion for this morning. Listen, if you have any business questions, send it to me at thebusinessadvisor@gmail.com. Or if you would like to sit down with me and confidentially talk about business issues, you can schedule online at www.lodge-co. All the links are down below. So look, read, click, whatever. So that's where I stand at the moment on this energy policy is that we have energy chaos at the moment based upon bad leadership. Okay, that's it. I'm done. Talk with you soon. Everybody go out and have a great day.